Good morning, one and all. I welcome you all to Ganesh IAS Academy. In today's session, we'll be seeing science and technology based current affairs from the date November 7th to November 13th, 2023. Let us get into the news articles one by one. The topic that we are going to discuss now is Global Tuberculosis Report 2023. So what is this report? Let us understand this in detail, and who has released this report? All those details we must have to understand. Moreover, what is India's status with respect to tuberculosis at present? All these details we'll be seeing in this news article. So why is it in the news? Recently, WHO, that is World Health Organization, has released Global Tuberculosis Report 2023, which highlights the high burden of TB worldwide in the year 2022. Okay, so this report is for the year 2022, which has been released in the year 2023. Okay, and then why are we giving importance to this topic? Because India accounted for the highest number of TB cases in the world. That is why we are giving utmost importance to this topic. And this happened in the year 2022 with 2.8 million TB cases, and it represents 27% of the global burden of TB. So India accounts for 27% of global burden with respect to TB cases. That is why we are giving importance to this topic. What else do we have to understand? Before getting into the details of the findings of the report or key highlights of the report, let us understand what tuberculosis is. Okay, so tuberculosis is an infection caused by a bacteria, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. That is why this tuberculosis. Okay, it is called tuberculosis, and then it can practically affect any organ of the body. Okay, so the most common organs which are getting affected are lungs and then pleura. Pleura is nothing but the inner lining of the lungs. Okay, and it also affects other organs like lymph nodes, intestines, spine, and brain. Okay, it can affect all these organs also. And how is it transmitted from one person to another? It is an airborne infection, so it transmits through air. Okay, so it is airborne infection that spreads through close contact with the infected person, especially in densely populated spaces with poor ventilation. So with poor ventilation, densely populated, hugely crowded places, it can get transmitted from one person to another. When one person coughs, then it may infect other person. Okay, and what are all the symptoms of this tuberculosis? The most common symptoms are cough with sputum, and sometimes even blood will come in your sputum. Okay, and then chest pain is very common, weakness, weight loss, fever, and even night sweats are very common in TB. Okay, in TB patients, they won't get sleep that easily. Next is, what are all the treatments that we have for TB at present? Is it treatable? Yes, it is treatable, and it is a curable disease. And what is the treatment that we have? It is treated with a standard 6-month course of 4 antimicrobial drugs. Okay, and then this anti-TB medicine have been used for decades now, and thus certain strains of bacteria have become resistant to one or more of these drugs. Okay, and it has been documented in this report also, and such bacteria are called as multi-drug resistant tuberculosis bacteria. Okay, so what is this multi-drug resistance tuberculosis? It means it is a form of TB which is caused by bacteria that do not respond to two medicines, the first line medicines. What are they? That is isoniazid and rifampicin. These two will not work for the patients who are infected with multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, and then these two are the most powerful first line anti-TB drug that is being used at present. And then people who are affected by this multi-drug resistant tuberculosis will be treated with second line drug, that is bedaquiline. This also must be there in our records. Okay, so for people who are affected with multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, bedaquiline is given, and these are the people who become resistant to isoniazid and rifampicin. This must be there. And there is yet another case, that is extensively drug resistant TB. So, okay, so it is more severe form of this multi-drug resistant TB, which is caused by bacteria that do not respond to the most effective second line drug also. Okay, so thus it leaves people without any further treatment options. So it is very dangerous, and even in India we are facing this problem at present. Okay. Next is, what are all the findings of this report? Let us understand. First thing is the global burden. What is the status? What is the situation now? So it was the world's second leading cause of death from a single infectious agent in the year 2022, which is followed by COVID-19. Okay, so COVID-19 had the most one, and then the second leading cause of death in the year 2022 was TB. Okay, and then TB caused almost twice as many deaths as HIV AIDS. Okay, so it caused twice as many deaths as HIV. Statements like these are very important from your exam point of view, and more than 10 million people continue to fall ill with TB every year. This is also important. And there are 30 high burden TB countries, which collectively account for 87% of the world TB cases in the year 2022. And then among the top 8 high burden countries, India is also present. This is important. Obviously India will be there because India ranks first, right? 27% of the global burden belongs to India. Okay, so India is there. Additionally, we have Indonesia, China, Philippines, Pakistan, Nigeria, Bangladesh, and Democratic Republic of Congo. So in our neighboring countries, we have China, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. This also must be there. Questions like this may also be asked, like among our neighbors, who are there in the top 8. Okay. Next is increase in TB diagnosis. So in 2022, 7.5 million people were diagnosed with TB. So this is also important. Okay, before getting into the treatment, we must have to diagnose the people. Okay, so this marks the highest figure recorded since WHO began the global TB monitoring in the year 1995. Okay, so they started TB monitoring in the year 1995, and from then onwards, this figure is the highest. I mean, the 2022 figure is the highest for diagnosis. Okay, which is a good thing. Next is high mortality without treatment. Okay, so without treatment, the death rate from TB disease is high, about 50%. But with treatment, currently recommended by the WHO, that is that 4 to 6 months anti-drug TB drugs, okay, about 85% of the people can be cured. So with treatment, 85% of the people can be cured, but without treatment, the death rate is very high, that is 50%. Okay. What else do we need to understand? What are all the global recovery in TB diagnosis and treatment? So there is a positive global recovery in the number of people diagnosed with TB and also treated with TB. Who took treatment for TB in the year 2022 following 2 years of COVID related disruptions. Okay, and then countries like India, Indonesia, and Philippines accounted for almost 60% of the global reduction. Okay, this is also important. So these are all the positive trends that we have with respect to TB. And there is something called as TB incidence rate. What is this TB incidence rate? TB incidence rate, which means new cases per 1 lakh population. Okay, per year. This is TB incidence rate. Okay, such statements are important. So new cases per 1 lakh population per year, and this TB incidence rate has increased by 3.9% between the year 2020 and 2022. Okay, and then this increase reversed the declining trend of about 2% per year that had been observed for the most part of the 2 decades. Okay, so this incidence rate is increasing, thus it is causing decline in the trend. Okay, next is, what are all the findings which are related to India? First thing is TB case fatality ratio in India. Again the death rate. Okay, so India reported a case of 12%, indicating that 12% of the TB cases in the country resulted in the death. Okay, and then the report estimates that 3,42,000 TB related deaths occurred in India in the year 2022. Of this, 3,31,000 people are non-HIV, okay, HIV negative patients, whereas the rest 11,000 are among people who are HIV positive. Okay, and then multi-drug resistance, this is a major concern in India. So India recorded 1.1 lakh cases in multi-drug resistance in the year 2022, which highlights the continued challenge of multi-drug resistant tuberculosis as a public health crisis that we have at present. Okay. Next is, what are all the recommendations given by this report of 2023? So there must be urgent action. Okay, there is a need for urgent action to end the global TB epidemic by 2030. Okay, so this goal was set by the member states of United Nations and WHO. Okay, so we need to end the global TB epidemic by the year 2030. Next is universal health coverage. Okay, this is also needed. Okay, universal health coverage is essential to ensure that all people who need treatment for TB disease or infection can access these treatments. That is why we are giving a push to universal health coverage. Moreover, multi-sectoral action is also needed. What is this multi-sectoral action? So TB, if people are affected by TB, it may be aggravated by many other factors. Okay, those are the multi-sectors that we are talking about here. Okay, so it may be poverty, undernourishment, HIV infection, smoking and diabetes. Okay, so these conditions will aggravate the problem of TB. Even poverty is included because people will not get access to good quality drugs. Okay, anti-TB drugs, they will not be affordable to get those drugs. Okay, so poverty is also a problem here which has to be addressed. So this will reduce the number of people acquiring infection in developing countries. Okay. Next, what are all the initiatives that are there to combat TB in India? Okay. First thing is National Strategic Plan for Tuberculosis Elimination. That is from the year 2017 to 2025. Okay. So such year is also important. From when to when, that is important. We have this National Strategic Plan for Tuberculosis Elimination. Next, we have Nikshay ecosystem. What is this Nikshay ecosystem? It is National TB Information System. And then we have Nikshay Poshan Yojana. Okay. Poshan means nutrition. Okay. So they are giving financial support for nutrition. Okay. For nutritional aids. Okay. And then there is TB Harega Desh Jeetega campaign. It is again related to TB. Okay. So in your answer writing, you may elaborate these things one by one and write, which will add value to your answer. And then in 2018, this Nikshay Poshan Yojana was launched, which aimed to support every tuberculosis patient by providing direct benefit transfer. So it is a direct benefit transfer of how much? 500 rupees per month for their nutritional needs. Next, currently two vaccines. One is VPM 1002. What is this VPM? Vaccine Project Management. It is a company. Okay. So VPM 1002 and then MIP, that is Mycobacterium indicus prani. Okay. These two drugs have been developed and they are identified for TB and then they are under phase 3 of clinical trials. Okay. So soon they will be in market, which will enhance the treatment options that we have now. Okay, so these are all the things which we need to understand with respect to this particular report. The topic that we are going to discuss now is deepfake. What is deepfake? Why is it in the news? So recently a deepfake video which shows an Indian actress has sparked outrage and concern over the misuse of artificial intelligence to create realistic but fake videos, and it is also known as deepfake. So they are realistic videos but they are fake. That is deepfake technology. Okay. So what are deepfakes? They are synthetic media which uses AI, artificial intelligence, to manipulate and generate visual and audio content usually with the intention of deceiving or misleading someone. So the intention of deepfake here is to deceive someone or to mislead someone. So it is fake. That is why it is deepfake. Okay. And then deepfakes are part of deep synthesis that we already have in artificial intelligence, which uses technologies including deep learning and augmented reality to generate text, image, audio, video, and create virtual scenes. So it can generate text, audio, video, and anything. Okay. All this is done by artificial intelligence technology. Next is, how is this deepfake created? Okay, the creation of deepfake. First is, they are created using a technique called as generative adversarial networks. Okay, generative adversarial networks, GAN. And this network involves two competing neural networks. What are they? One is called a generator and other is called a discriminator. Okay, so what is the role of generator here? Generator tries to create fake images or videos that look realistic. So they create fake videos or audio. But the role of discriminator here is to distinguish between the real and the fake ones. So discriminator will find whether it is real or fake. Okay, whereas these generators are creating the fake images. So they have to work in tandem to arrive at a Paka fake video. Okay, so the generator learns from the feedback of the discriminator. So the discriminator is the one which is distinguishing between the real and the fake ones, right? So it will learn from the feedbacks of the discriminator and then it will improve its output until it can fool the discriminator. So this is how it works. Okay, discriminator distinguishes, generator creates fake images. So the generator has to fool the discriminator and create a fake video so that this discriminator will not be able to distinguish between the real one and the fake one. Okay, and then deepfake require a large amount of data like photos and videos. This is also necessary. Okay, of the source and the target person. Then only it can create a good deepfake video. Okay, which are often collected from the internet and social media without the consent or knowledge, which is problematic here. Okay, it misleads people or it deceives people. And we also have positive applications of deep learning or how these technologies are being used. Okay, so what are all the positive aspects of this? First is, we can restore lost voices and recreate historical figures. Okay, this is there. And then deep learning techniques have been applied in comedy, cinema, music, and gaming to enhance artistic expression. So to enhance artistic expression it is used, and to recreate historical figures it is used. Okay, also historical voices. Even if we have a voice for 1 minute of any historical figure, we can recreate it. Okay, a detailed speech of the same person can be recreated using that 1 minute audio also. Okay, that is possible now. Next is, synthetic avatars of people with physical and mental disabilities will help express themselves online. Okay, this will help those people with disabilities. Next is, it enhances medical training and simulation. Okay, by generating diverse and realistic medical images. This is also there. Moreover, it also creates virtual patients and scenarios for simulating medical conditions and procedures, thus improving the training efficiency. So it helps hugely for medical training, medicine training. Okay. Next is, what are all the concerns regarding deepfakes? First is, deepfakes are a problem because they can be used for various malicious purposes like spreading propaganda and fake news. One thing. Next is, influencing elections and public opinion. This may be a problem now. Okay, we in India are going to have elections, Lok Sabha election next year. So this has to be controlled. It should not influence elections and public opinion. Next is, blackmailing individuals and organizations. This may also happen, damaging the reputation and credibility of celebrities, politicians, activists, and even journalists. Okay. Moreover, it can create non-consensual pornography and revenge porn. Okay, this is also possible with Deepfakes. Okay, next, deepfakes can cause various harms like eroding the trust in the institution. This may happen. Okay, these are like ethical aspects of it. It will erode the trust in institution, media, and democracy, and it will undermine the rule of law and human rights. This is also there. Moreover, deepfake technology can violate privacy, dignity, and reputation of any individual, and thus harm the mental health and well-being of the victims. Especially here, the victims are women, who are often the targets of such malicious manipulations. Okay, so these things you must have to understand with respect to deepfake. I mean the negative aspects of deepfake. In the previous slide, we saw the positive applications of deepfake or deep learning. These are all the negative aspects regarding deepfake. In your answer writing, you should include all these if asked. Next is, how can we detect, how can we distinguish from the real ones and the fake ones? First is, we should look for visual and audio inconsistencies. So okay, so if there are any inconsistencies, then we must report those videos. Okay, then use reverse image search to find the original source or the similar images. This is also important. Okay, we can reverse the image search. Okay, next is, we can use artificial intelligence based tools to analyze the quality and consistency and also authenticity of the images or videos, and using digital watermarking or blockchain. Okay, we can use digital watermarking or blockchain to verify the source and integrity of the media. Okay, these are all the ways in which you can detect these deepfake videos. Next is, are there any regulations, are there any legislations with respect to with respect to this deepfake? No, India does not have a specific law or regulation that ban or regulate the use of deepfake technology, but India has called for a global framework on the expansion of ethical artificial intelligence. Okay, so India has put this proposal, ethical artificial intelligence. Okay, next is, the existing laws such as section 67 and 67A of Information Technology Act of 2000 have provisions that may be applied to certain aspects of deepfakes like defamation and publishing explicit material. So this is how it is being controlled now. And we also have section 500 of Indian Penal Code, which provides punishment for defamation. Okay, so there are no specific laws and regulations, but then there are other laws and regulations to which these deepfakes, I mean, they can be applied to these deepfake cases. Next is, we have Digital Personal Data Protection Act, yet another legislation which provides some protection against misuse of personal data. And then we have Information Technology Rules of 2021, which mandate removal of content impersonating others and artificially morphed images within 36 hours. Okay, so this is there. Next is, India needs to develop a comprehensive legal framework specifically targeting these deepfakes, considering the potential implication for privacy, social stability, national security, and democracy. Okay, so these things we need to understand with respect to deepfake, and what are all the global efforts that we have now. First thing is, recent world's first ever AI safety summit. Okay, it happened in the year 2023, which involves 28 major countries, which includes US, China, and India. Okay, and they have agreed the need for global action on to address artificial intelligence potential risk. So they have agreed that artificial intelligence is causing a great risk to people's privacy. Okay, and then there was a declaration, that is Bletchley Park Declaration. Okay, so this Bletchley Park Declaration was declared in this summit, which acknowledged the risk of intentional misuse and loss of control over artificial intelligence technologies. Okay, so this is what we need to understand. We need to know that this declaration is related to the risk posed by artificial intelligence. Okay, question may be asked with respect to this. The topic that we are going to discuss now is radiative cooling paint. So what is this radiative cooling paint? Researchers at Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research in Bengaluru, which is an autonomous institute of the Department of Science and Technology, have introduced an innovative paint that utilizes radiative cooling technology. So what is this radiative cooling technology? We need to understand, and what is the need for this technology? Let us understand that first. So in the wake of escalating global temperatures and the pressing need for substantial cooling solutions, there is this new innovation which is cost effective, eco-friendly technology. Okay, so this is an effective solution that we have at present. Let us understand what is radiative cooling technology and how does this work. First is, radiative cooling technology is a method which is designed to dissipate heat from any object by emitting thermal radiation. So this is important. So they are going to emit thermal radiation here, one, and it is going to be emitted into the atmosphere directly. Okay, next is, it will allow the object to become cooler. Obviously, when the thermal radiations are emitted, it will allow the object to become cooler. Next is, it leads to creation of cool surfaces by emitting thermal radiation. Yes, but it will emit directly into the extremely cold universe. This is important. Okay, they will not get dissipated into the hot environment of the atmosphere, but then they will be released into the extremely cold universe, that is around 3 Kelvin, very low temperatures. Okay, how is this happening? It is using atmospheric transmission window. What is this atmospheric transmission window? That is that part of the electromagnetic radiation where the transmission is very easy. Okay, it will transmit from the Earth's surface to the outer atmosphere very quickly. Okay, that range, that wavelength is 8 to 13 micrometers. Okay, next is, notably, this process occurs without any reliance on electricity, which is very important. So they are just going to use a paint coating. They are not going to involve any electricity. Thus, fossil fuel burning will also not be there. Thus, it becomes an eco-friendly solution. So this is how it happens. Incident solar radiation is causing the heat, and then there is heat from the surrounding. I mean, even the earth emits radiation, right? Even that is causing the heat. Okay, so these heat are emitted into the outer space. Okay, this is happening through that atmospheric transmission window. Okay, and then even the solar radiation is reflected back effectively. So reflection is there and transmission is also there. Okay, so this is how this cooling technology works. So what was the need? First is, there is global warming and urban heat island effects that are there, which have accentuated the necessity for effective cooling technologies. And then conventional active cooling devices like air conditioners, fans, refrigerators, which demand substantial electricity. Okay, and then it contributes to greenhouse gas emission and elevated surface temperature. So these conventional cooling devices that we have is heavily dependent on electricity. Okay, so it will in turn increase greenhouse gas emission and then it will elevate the surface temperature, whereas this radiative cooling technology addresses these challenges by emitting the thermal radiation without electricity consumption through the atmospheric transmission window that we discussed earlier. Okay, so this is what the technology is. And the new finding, what is that paint? What is it made of? So it is derived from a novel magnesium oxide polyvinylidene fluoride. Okay, PVDF, polyvinylidene fluoride, which is a polymer and nanocomposite, which has been prepared from materials which are earth abundant, cheap, non-toxic and non-harmful. So thus it becomes environment friendly and also it is economical. Next is, it showcases remarkable cooling capabilities with high solar reflectivity. This must be there. And then infrared thermal emissivity. Infrared is nothing but heat. Okay, heat radiations. Okay, so infrared thermal emissivity is also highest. So what are all the percentages here? So it resulted in high solar reflectance of 96.3%. Huge. Again, exceptional thermal emission was also there, that is 98.5%. Okay, so that is why this technology is gaining popularity. Next is, with the outstanding optical features, it lowers the surface temperature by about 10 degrees Celsius in strong sunlight, outperforming the standard white paints that we have now. Moreover, it's water resistant. It is water resistant and hydrophobic in nature. Hydrophobic means water resistant. Okay, so it guarantees effortless application on diverse surfaces, ensuring consistent coverage and strong adhesion. So these are all the things which we need to know about this radiative cooling paint. The topic that we are going to discuss now is Hermes Starliner 900 drones. So who has created this drone and who has procured these drones? Let us understand all those details. So India is set to acquire additional Israeli-made Hermes Starliner 900 drones, okay, which will enhance Indian Army surveillance capabilities along its northern borders. Okay, and then what is this drone? It is an Israeli-made medium altitude, long endurance unmanned aerial vehicles. Okay, drones are also called as unmanned aerial vehicles, and then it is a larger variant of Hermes 900 that we already have. And what are all the features of this Hermes Starliner 900? Okay, it has a wingspan of 17 meter and a maximum takeoff weight of 1600 kilogram. Okay. Next is, the aircraft has a service ceiling of 30,000 feet and it offers the flight endurance of up to 36 hours. Okay, 30,000 feet ceiling height. Next is, flight endurance is up to 36 hours, and then the aircraft's automatic takeoff and landing capabilities allows it to take off and land in near zero visibility environments also. Okay, so even in high altitudinal and near zero visibility environments, this will work efficiently. Moreover, an active de-icing system is also installed in this drones, which is helpful for removing ice from the surface to ensure safe operation in icing conditions. And then it can carry a range of multi-sensor payloads weighing up to 450 kilogram for multiple applications. And then it is equipped with terrain avoidance warning system. Any of our Indian drones also has the system, that is terrain avoidance warning system. What is it used for? It is used for terrain prediction and obstacle avoidance. So if there is an obstacle in its way, it will reroute accordingly. Okay, and then it is equipped with synthetic aperture radar and a ground moving target indicator radar and also a maritime patrol radar. And all this is helpful to locate and acquire the targets. So these are all the things which we need to understand with respect to this Starliner 900, Hermes Starliner 900, which is an Israeli drone which Indian Army has procured recently. Okay. The topic that we are going to discuss now is Euclid mission. What is this Euclid mission? Let us understand. So the Euclid mission, which will investigate the mysteries of the dark matter and dark energy, has released its first 5 science images. So this Euclid mission is an observatory. First thing that we need to understand, that it is a observatory. Next, it is led by European Space Agency with the help of NASA, with the contributions of NASA, and it is scheduled to begin regular science operations from early 2024. Okay, next year. And then now it has released its first 5 science images. That is why it is in news. Okay, and then the new image includes large cluster of thousands of distant galaxies. Next is close-ups of 2 nearby galaxies, and then a gravitationally bound group of stars called as globular cluster. Okay, statements like this are important. Okay, even in 2023 prelims, questions related to stars were asked. Okay, different types of stars. Okay, So a gravitationally bound group of stars are called as globular cluster, and then we also have nebula. Okay, nebula was also one of the images here. Okay, so a nebula, which is a cloud of gas and dust in space where the star form. Okay, all these were depicted in bright, vibrant colors. Okay, next is, we here saw that it is going to investigate the mysteries of dark matter and dark energy, right? So what is dark matter and dark energy, that we need to understand. So what is dark here? Dark here does not mean that it is dark, okay, I mean without light. Okay, it means that we do not know. It denotes that it is unknown. That is why it is called as dark energy, okay, or dark matter. And then what is dark energy here? It is an unknown form of energy that is hypothesized to permeate. Permeate means to spread throughout, okay, all of the space, which tends to accelerate the expansion of universe. So it is an unknown form of energy, and what have they hypothesized? That it has permeate, or it has spread throughout all of the space, which tends to accelerate the expansion of universe. The universe is accelerating, I mean it is expanding continuously, right? So that expansion is possible just because of this dark energy that we have. Next is dark matter. So dark matter works like an attractive force here. Okay, so it is an attractive force, which is a kind of cosmic cement. It acts like a kind of cosmic cement that holds our universe together. So if something is going to expand forever and ever, there must be some other thing which holds these things together, right? That is dark matter. Okay, so dark energy will help in expansion of the universe, whereas dark matter is holding the universe together. And this is because dark matter does interact with gravity, but it does not reflect, absorb, or emit light. Very important. Okay, it does interact with gravity, but it does not reflect, absorb, or emit light. And then meanwhile, dark energy is a repulsive force. Very important. Okay, dark energy here is a repulsive force, which is a sort of anti-gravity. Okay, because it is causing expansion. Next is, this drives the universe ever accelerating expansion. Okay, so it is a sort of anti-gravity energy that we have. Next is, dark energy is far more dominant force than the gravity force that we have. Okay, and this accounts for roughly 68% of the universe's total mass and energy. Very important. So dark energy contributes or constitutes 68% of the universe's total mass and energy, whereas dark matter makes up to 27%. So 68 and 27, rest we only have 5% left. Okay, and this 5% is all the regular matter we see and interact with in every day. So we are seeing a lot of stars, we are seeing Earth, or hereby galaxies. Everything that we see as matter, it is just 5% of the entire universe. The rest is dark matter and dark energy. Dark matter 27% and dark energy is 68%. This is what we need to know about dark energy and dark matter, and this Euclid mission, which is an observatory of European Space Agency. Okay, so with this we have come to end of today's session. I hope you found the session to be very useful and informative. Let us see in the next session. Thank you.